Daniel Novak used to arrive at the office before sunrise, not because anyone asked him to, but because silence reminded him of where he started. 27 years earlier, he had stepped off a plane at JFK with one suitcase, a borrowed coat, and English stitched together from late-night television reruns. America had smelled like gasoline, rain, and possibility. He worked construction first, then warehouse shifts, then night maintenance jobs until his hands hardened and his accent softened. Hawthorne Dynamics was supposed to be temporary, a small logistics startup operating out of a rented industrial unit in New Jersey. Daniel fixed machines no one else understood. He worked weekends without overtime, redesigned broken systems, and slowly became indispensable. When the founder struggled, he stayed. When investors nearly pulled out, he rebuilt their failing distribution model from scratch. The company grew. Glass offices replaced metal desks. Executives replaced dreamers. But Daniel never changed. Same lunchbox, same careful handwriting, same belief that loyalty meant something. He missed birthdays for deadlines, skipped vacations to solve crises. Every promotion he declined went to someone younger, smoother, louder, and he never complained. "This company fed my family," he would say. What he never noticed was how invisible gratitude becomes once success arrives. The accusation came on a Tuesday. Human Resources called him upstairs. The conference room blinds were closed. 3 executives sat across from him: Richard Fail, the CEO, Mark Ellison, CFO, and Laura Benton from legal. Their faces carried rehearsed disappointment. "Daniel," Hale began gently, "we discovered irregular financial transfers." Daniel frowned. "Transfers?" Ellison slid documents across the table. Numbers blurred together. Offshore accounts, vendor payments, millions missing. His name attached to authorization codes. Daniel laughed at first, a small, confused sound. "This is mistake." No one left back. Security escorted him out before lunch. By evening, the story spread across internal emails. By morning, industry blogs carried headlines: "Trusted senior manager accused of embezzlement." His company laptop was wiped, access revoked, pension frozen pending investigation. Neighbors stopped waving. Former coworkers avoided eye contact at grocery stores. At home, the silence hurt more. His daughter Emily avoided him for days, scrolling through articles on her phone. "Dad, did you do it?" she finally asked. The question didn't sound angry. It sounded afraid. Daniel felt something collapse inside his chest. "No," he whispered. But doubt, once planted, grows faster than truth. Legal fees drained his savings. Banks froze accounts. Friends stopped calling. Without income, the mortgage slipped away piece by piece until foreclosure notices replaced family photos on the kitchen counter. He watched 25 years dissolve in months. One night, sitting alone in the dark apartment they had downsized into, Daniel replayed every moment at Hawthorne Dynamics, every handshake, every late night, every promise. He realized something terrifying. The evidence against him was too perfect, not sloppy, not accidental, designed. The betrayal was deliberate. Rage came slowly, like winter creeping through cracks. He thought about fighting publicly, screaming innocence, destroying reputations the way they destroyed his. But Daniel had lived long enough to understand something about power. Loud men lose. Patient men survive. So he stopped arguing, stopped answering calls, stopped defending himself. And one morning, he vanished. No forwarding address, no goodbye. Emily found only an empty apartment and a folded note on the kitchen table. "I need time. Believe what you must. One day, truth will speak louder than me." Years passed. Hawthorne Dynamics flourished without him. Stock prices rose. Executives appeared on magazine covers. Hale became a symbol of corporate leadership. Ellison expanded internationally. The scandal faded into corporate history, another disgraced employee erased by success. Daniel Novak became a cautionary tale. But far away, under a different name, Daniel worked quietly, a repair technician in a coastal town, cash jobs, modest living, invisible existence. Every night he studied financial reports, every filing, every earnings statement, every public disclosure Hawthorne released. He wasn't running, he was waiting, because Daniel understood something they didn't. The systems he built still ran the company, and buried deep inside those systems was a truth only he knew how to unlock. Revenge never felt the way Daniel imagined. There was no fire, no triumphant anger, only exhaustion. 5 years after his disappearance, Hawthorne Dynamics announced record profits again. Analysts praised aggressive expansion strategies Daniel recognized immediately. They were using the same accounting loopholes that had framed him, only bigger, riskier, illegal. He sat at a small kitchen table overlooking gray ocean waves, reading quarterly filings with steady hands. Every confirmation hurt, not because he was angry anymore, but because he realized how predictable greed was. They hadn't just sacrificed him, they had learned nothing. Daniel opened an old laptop. Inside it lived something he created years before the accusation, a safeguard he installed quietly after noticing suspicious executive overrides long ago, an autonomous audit protocol, invisible, encrypted, designed to activate only if certain financial thresholds were crossed repeatedly, thresholds now exceeded. He never intended revenge when he built it. He intended protection. The system gathered internal logs executives believed erased, authorization trails, private communications, hidden transfers routed through shell vendors, and one final trigger, a scheduled release tied to a legal dead man authorization stored with an independent law firm. Daniel stared at the confirmation screen. One click would destroy them. His reflection in the dark monitor looked older, smaller. He thought about Emily, the distance between them, the years lost, the doubt in her eyes. Would this fix anything? Would truth give him back what humiliation stole? For a long time, he didn't move. Revenge demanded action. Humanity demanded mercy. But mercy for men who ruined lives felt like surrender. He pressed enter. 3 weeks later, Hawthorne Dynamics collapsed. Federal investigators received anonymous data packages containing internal financial records spanning 8 years. News outlets exploded with headlines. Massive corporate fraud exposed. Executives accused of framing an employee to hide embezzlement. Emails surfaced showing Hale and Ellison discussing the need for a fall guy. Daniel's name appeared repeatedly. Stock prices crashed overnight. Arrests followed. Commentators revisited the old scandal, now reframed as one of the largest corporate cover-ups in recent history. Emily watched the news in stunned silence. Her father's face appeared again, this time beside the word exonerated. 2 days later, a package arrived at her apartment. Inside was a handwritten letter. Emily, if you are reading this, the truth has already come out. I did not destroy them. They destroyed themselves. I only stopped protecting their lies. Years ago, I discovered irregularities. I believed loyalty meant fixing problems quietly. When I questioned them, they chose survival over honesty. Framing me was easier than confessing. I could have exposed them immediately, but anger makes truth look like revenge. I needed time so the evidence would speak without my voice. You deserved a father people could believe again, not a bitter man shouting innocence. There is something else you must know. I was sick when I left. The doctors gave me little time. I didn't want your last memory of me a broken man fighting courts and headlines. Disappearing was the only gift I could still give you. Everything I built was placed in trust under your name years ago. Not money, but proof, protection, a future untouched by their corruption. Forgive me for leaving before you understood.
I never stopped being proud of you. Dad. Emily read the letter twice before realizing her hands were shaking. News reports later confirmed Daniel Novak had died quietly months earlier under another name in a small coastal town. No dramatic return, no courtroom victory, only truth arriving after he was gone. The executives went to prison. Hawthorne Dynamics dissolved under lawsuits and federal penalties. Commentators called it justice, but justice felt quieter than expected. Emily visited the ocean town listed in the documents. The landlord remembered Daniel as a polite man who fixed neighbors' appliances for free and watched sunsets every evening. He seemed peaceful, the landlord said. She walked to the shore where he used to sit. For the first time, she understood. Her father hadn't chosen revenge. He chose patience. He let truth become louder than anger. The waves rolled endlessly toward land, erasing footprints as soon as they appeared. Emily whispered into the wind, unsure whether she was apologizing or thanking him. Maybe both. Ending. In the end, Daniel Novak never took back his reputation by force, never shouted his innocence, never watched the men who ruined him fall. He simply stopped carrying their lies. And sometimes the deepest revenge is not destroying your enemies, but leaving behind a truth so undeniable that the world finishes the work for you long after you're gone.